Will the House please come to order and members kindly take their seats? Good afternoon. The devotional today will be led by Gretchen Wertlieb, who is a student at South Burlington High School and runner-up in the 2025 Vermont Poetry Out Loud Contest.
This is An Apology for Her Poetry by Duchess of Newcastle, Margaret Cavendish. I language want to dress my fancies in, the hairs uncurled, the garment loose and thin. Had they but silver lace to make them gay, they'd be more courted than in poor array. Or had they art, would make a better show. But they are plain, yet cleanly do they go. The world in bravery doth take delight, and glistering shows do more attract the sight. And every one doth honor a rich hood, as if the outside made the inside good. And every one doth bow and give the place, not for the man's sake, but the silver lace. Let me entreat in my poor book's behalf, that all will not adore the golden calf. Consider, pray, gold hath no life therein, and life in nature is the richest thing. Be just, let fancy have the upper place, and then my verses may, perchance, find grace. Thank you.
Members, we have one House bill for introduction today. House Bill 516 is an act relating to approval of amendments to the Charter of the Town of Essex, introduced by Representative Dodge of Essex and others. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
H 516, an act relating to approval of amendments to the Charter of the Town of Essex.
Now, the bill has been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs. Members, earlier today, the Committee on Ways and Means voted out two bills that carry an appropriation and are therefore referred to the Committee on Appropriations pursuant to House Rule 35A, pending their entry on the notice calendar. They are Senate Bill 53, which is an act relating to certification of community-based perinatal doulas and Medicaid coverage for doula services, and Senate Bill 127, which is an act relating to housing and housing development. We now have a joint Senate resolution to take up at this time. JRS 26 is a joint resolution relating to weekend adjournment on May 16th, 2025. It was offered by Senator Baruth and was read and adopted on the part of the Senate. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that when the two houses adjourn on Friday, May 16th, 2025, to be to meet again no later than Tuesday, May 20th, 2025.
Now you have heard the reading of the resolution, and the question is, shall the House adopt the resolution in concurrence? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and the resolution is adopted in concurrence. Members, we have received requests to read 4 House concurrent resolutions that the House and Senate adopted pursuant to the consent calendar. The first is HCR 7, which is a House concurrent resolution congratulating the 2024 Fairhaven Union High School Slaters Division II Championship Boys Football Team. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas the 2024 third-seeded Slaters were pleased to reach the season's decisive game against the top-seeded Green Knights of Rice Memorial High School. And whereas in this high-scoring gridiron contest played in St. Johnsbury, Rice assumed a 12-7 first-quarter lead that sparked Fairhaven's football prowess, resulting in a Slaters 21-15 halftime lead. And the second half, despite Rice's attempted comeback, concluded in a 35-22 Fairhaven triumph as the team clinched the school's first divisional football championship since 2017. And whereas The victorious Slaters were Jack Almeida, Bryson Kelly, Mason Goodall, Tyler Jackson, Evan Spanos, Logan Knipes, Derek Webb, Sam Cahill, Phil Bean, Cody Adams, Devin Lefrancois, Adam Williams, Connor Savage, Easton Adams, Aidan Lawn, Jacob Torrey, Connor Lafrancois, Aidan Wilkins, Caleb Lawn, Max Cahill, Anthony Zabo, Cole Belden, Jonathan Hutchins, Alex Messer, Aidan Goyette, Tommy Buxton, Colby Clark, Caden Lynch, Seth Zakor, Jackson Beckwith, Aidan St. Armour, Tanner Raymond, Porter Silva, Gabe Barrows, Ty Ferguson, Jeremiah Kirby, Gabe Bach, Gavin Spencer, Austin Williams, Lamont Jones, and Jacob Jameson. And whereas head coach Adam Perry and assistant coaches Keith Heer, PJ Zabo, Hunter Muzzy, Chris Parker, Joel Perry, Caleb Lasai, and DJ Perry were great contributors to the Slaters' achievement. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates the 2024 Fairhaven Union High School Slaters Division II Championship Boys Football Team. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to Fairhaven Union High School.
Next is HCR 82, which is a House concurrent resolution congratulating the 2025 Fairhaven Union High School Slaters State Championship Bowling Team. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas during the 2024-2025 season on the bowling lanes, the second-seeded Fairhaven Slaters experienced its strongest challenge from the top-ranked Randolph Union High Galloping Ghosts, and after defeating South Burlington and Essex in the quarterfinal and semifinal rounds, the Slaters confronted their arch rival for the state title at the Spare Time Bowling Facility in Colchester. And whereas, despite losing the opening game to Randolph, 172-150, the Slaters immediately rebounded, winning the second, 161-146, the third, 243-177, the fifth, 217-168, and the sixth, 233-164. And with 4 victories, Fairhaven clinched the best of 7 final round and won the 2025 State Bowling Championship. And whereas a caravan of over 20 cars greeted the victorious team in Castleton and escorted the jubilant Slaters back to school, and whereas the championship Slater bowlers were Wyatt DeLance, Aidan Goyette, Nathan Bissett, and Chick Adam Silva, Emma Ackler, Eli Donaldson, Dylan Banya, Michael Toll, Kerbin Hayes, George Stamp, Madison Stamp, and Amberlyn Haley. And whereas head coach Joe Donaldson and assistant coach Ron Carrera were superb guides for the team, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates the 2025 Fairhaven Union High School Slaters State Championship Bowling Team. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to Fairhaven Union High School.
Next is HCR 89, which is a House concurrent resolution congratulating the 2025 Fairhaven Union High School Slaters girls basketball team on winning a second consecutive Division II championship. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas the Division II girls basketball ultimate playoff game at Barry Auditorium proved to be a contest between 2 closely matched and defensively focused squads. And whereas the top-seeded North Country Falcons narrowly led the second-ranked and defending title holder Fairhaven Slaters 22-21 with roughly 3 minutes remaining in the third period, a score that left the final outcome unknown to all the fans watching at the Barry Auditorium. And whereas, recognizing that they were perilously close to losing their championship title, the Slaters charged full steam ahead, igniting a 9-0 scoring spree that reset the scenario with an encouraging 30-22 Fairhaven lead. And although North Country momentarily regained momentum, narrowing the Rutland County Hoopsters' advantage to 30-29, Fairhaven's final surge contributed to the Slaters' 37-31 come-from-behind victory. And whereas the Slaters roster featured Elizabeth Love, Oriana Kerr, Megan Wetmore, Maddie Perry, Kate Hadwin, Quinn Murphy, Riley Babby, Audrey Perry, Maddie Hayes, Isabel Cole, Callie LaRock, Brianna Cathcart, Riley Murray and Victoria Kelly. And whereas head coach Kyle Wilson, assistant coaches Jay Wilson, Leo Hutchins, Chad Wilson, and Henry Daly, and team managers Rose Wilmette and Taylor Wilson appreciated the extra initiative that the team contributed to the successful 2025 season. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates the 2025 Fairhaven Union High School Slaters girls basketball team on winning a second consecutive Division II championship. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to Fairhaven Union High School.
And finally, HCR 136 is a House concurrent resolution congratulating Mackenzie Salamani of Winooski on winning the 2025 Poetry Out Loud Vermont State Championship and commemorating the 20th anniversary of Poetry Out Loud. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas Poetry Out Loud is a nationwide high school poetry recitation competition that receives national support from the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation, and locally, the Vermont Arts Council and the Flynn in Burlington are essential facilitators. And whereas high school students across the country participate in a dynamic poetry recitation competition that is designed to improve their public speaking skills, help build confidence, and teach them about literary history and contemporary life. And whereas since Poetry Out Loud began, more than 4.5 million students in the United States from 21,000 schools, and with the support of 85,000 teachers, have participated. And whereas this year's state competition proved an exhilarating adventure, highlighting the joys of dramatically reciting a poet's written words. And whereas this nationwide cavalcade of poetic verbalization begins in local classrooms, 24 in Vermont this year, where eager young orators, 3,200 in the state and 157,000 nationwide, declaimed their soliloquies of poems or sonnets. And whereas the judges at the state finals listened with rapt attention and declared Mackenzie Salamani, a junior at Winooski High School, who presented Thomas Hood's I Remember, and William Wordsworth's The World is Too Much with Us, as the 2025 Poetry Out Loud Vermont State Champion and Vermont's representative at the national competition. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates Mackenzie Salamani of Winooski on winning the 2025 Poetry Out Loud Vermont State Championship and commemorates the 20th anniversary of Poetry Out Loud. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to Mackenzie Salamani, the Flynn, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Poetry Foundation, and the Vermont Arts Council.
Are there any announcements? Member from Winooski.
Madam Speaker, today we celebrate the power of poetry and the young voices that bring it to life. You've heard a resolution celebrating the accomplishments of Mackenzie Salamani from Winooski, and I'm also thrilled to recognize another extraordinary young poet who did our daily devotional today, Gretchen Wertlieb. Gretchen is a junior from South Burlington and this year's Poetry Out Loud runner-up. Gretchen is a member of the Young Writers Project, and her original poetry has been published in VT Digger, a powerful reflection of her emerging voice and creative strength. And while she cannot be with us in person because she's out on a field trip today, it's my honor to recognize Mackenzie Salamani, a junior at Winooski High School and this year's Vermont State Champion in the Poetry Out Loud competition. Mackenzie delivered 2 stunning recitations to earn that honor, including Thomas Hood's I Remember, which she said reminded her of her childhood in Zambia. Through that performance, Mackenzie not only honored the poem's memory, but she brought her own story to the stage, reminding us of the deep and personal connections that young people can find in literature. Mackenzie went on to represent Vermont at the National Poetry Out Loud competition in Washington, D.C., where she advanced to the semifinal round. Think about what a remarkable accomplishment that is, and a testament to her poise, talent, and her voice. We're so proud of both of these students, all of these students, of their schools, of their teachers, and proud of the work of the Vermont Arts Council and all of our partners in making Poetry Out Loud Such a meaningful celebration of voice, identity, and expression. It's also my great honor to introduce two champions of the arts in Vermont, Susan Evans McClure, Executive Director of the Vermont Arts Council, and Troy Hickman, a dedicated leader in creative programming and community engagement. Their work makes possible so many moments like the one we saw today and the one we commemorate today. Moments when young Vermonters can take the stage and move us with their words. Please join me in thanking Susan, Troy, Mackenzie, and Gretchen. We can't wait to see what they do next.
Will the guest member from Winooski please rise and be recognized? Member from Fairhaven.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the member from Castleton, the member from Hubbardton, and myself, I am pleased and privileged to introduce to you and through you to this body 83 athletes from Slater Nation who have exhibited their prowess on the championship stage right here in Vermont. We just heard a resolution recognizing the 2024 Division II football state champion Fairhaven Slaters. They are here today accompanied by their coaches DJ Perry, PJ Sabo, and head coach Adam Perry. They are seated in the balcony. Please welcome them to the People's House.
Will the guest member from Fairhaven please rise and be recognized? Member from Fairhaven.
We also heard a resolution recognizing the 2025 bowling state champions, the Fairhaven Slaters. They too are here today, accompanied by Ron Carrera, assistant coach, and their head coach, Joe Donaldson. They too are seated in the balcony. Please give them a warm State House welcome.
Will the guest member from Fairhaven please rise and be recognized? Member from Fairhaven.
We also have some athletes who have competed on the championship level in other sports. We want to recognize their accomplishments. Cole Belden is a member of the football team. He's a freshman who represented Fairhaven Union High School wrestling team and is the Division II 120-pound weight class state champion wrestler. Please recognize him.
Will the guest member from Fairhaven please rise and be recognized? Member from Fairhaven.
Rowan Keene, a senior from Fairhaven Union High School indoor track team, is a 2025 Division II weight throw state champion. Caden Lynch, a senior on the Fairhaven Union High School football team and indoor track team, is a 2025 Division II weight throw state champion. Would you please recognize them? Excuse me, Rowan Keene. They are accompanied by their coach, John Oakman. Please recognize them.
Will the guest member from Fairhaven please rise and be recognized? And member from Fairhaven.
Last but not least, we heard a resolution recognizing the Division II Vermont girls basketball Fairhaven Slaters back-to-back state champions. They're accompanied by coaches Leo Hutchins, Henry Daly, Taylor Wilson, and head coach Kyle Wilson. They are seated in the balcony. Please welcome them.
Will the guest member from Fairhaven please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Virgins.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs be relieved of House Bill 182, which is an act relating to the licensure of early childhood educators, and that it the bill be committed to the Committee on Human Services.
The member from Virgins moves that the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs be relieved of House Bill 182, an act relating to the licensure of early childhood educators, and that the same be committed to the Committee on Human Services. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have relieved the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs of House Bill 182 and committed the same to the Committee on Human Services. Are there any further announcements? Member from Winooski.
Madam Speaker, I have a class from the Winooski High School in the building. They're in the balcony. Can you please give them a warm People's House welcome?
Will the guest of the member from Winooski please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. Oh, member from Brattleboro.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Tomorrow, we will have the last meeting of the session of the Climate Solutions Caucus. It will be at noon in room 10, and pizza will be served, and we will be hearing from members of the Public Health Caucus about the intersection between climate and public health. Please join us. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Burlington.
Madam Speaker, tonight at 5:30 p.m., there's going to be a meeting of the Universal Healthcare Caucus on Zoom, and I'll send out an invite to the body for anyone interested in dropping in. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. Orders of the day. Members, we will begin with House Bill 41, which is an act relating to abuse of the dead body of a person. The bill passed the Senate with a proposal of amendment that is printed in today's calendar. Member from West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We finally made it after several delays, but the first thing I want to say is to give a little trigger warning. When I first reported this bill, there was a lot of graphic details, and which at that time I believe needed to be said. And I'm certainly going to do my best to stay away from that today, because I really don't think it's necessary. But if I do slip and and go in that direction, my apologies ahead of time. With this bill, to me, this is a true Vermont bill. And the reason I say that is because the idea for this bill came from a constituent. It didn't come from an advocacy group. It didn't come from one of us. It didn't come from the administration or the judiciary. It came from a former Vermont citizen because of an issue, a tragedy, I should say, in her family. And I think the thing that amazes me the most about and Pam, I'll just say her first name, is what her and her family and friends are going through. This bill does nothing to help them. It does nothing for the case that they're in the middle of. And her big concern was to help somebody, potentially help somebody in the future. And I just think that's amazing. I've never been in a situation like that, and I don't know if I would do that. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, but kudos to her for the obviously the big heart she has. There's been a lot of talk around this bill the last few days. I guess this is a perfect example of, don't let things sit too long because questions can come up and and things like that. And there were some questions that came up with this bill, and unfortunately there was some rumors that were flying around that weren't true. And again, I think that's because of the time people had to look at this and think about it. The big question that people had is in section 2, and I believe it's in the calendar today. And I'm going to read section 2. It's unauthorized burial or removal penalty. A person who buries, entombs, transports, or removes the dead body of a person without a burial transit permit so to do, or in any other manner, or at any other time or place than as specified in such permit, shall be subject to a civil penalty of not more than $1,000. There was a number of people that were concerned because we were lessening the penalty. And yes, we did. We lessened the penalty on that, but with reason. It wasn't just done arbitrarily. And before I get into the reasonings behind it, there was there was an error made. I think probably most everybody in this building has made an error or two. And in the error that was made was in committee, was in our House Judiciary Committee, that the words "subject to a civil penalty of" was not included in our text, but it is the language the committee voted on and voted the bill out 11-0. So as things moved along in the Senate, they added the language that we initially wanted in the bill, which was subject to a civil penalty of not more than $1,000. And the reason we lessened that from a 5-year felony down to a civil penalty was that we heard concerns around the funeral home industry that they have to get their paperwork in order to move a body. You know, there's permits, there's licenses. And if they moved a body one day after their license ran out, which I call a clerical error, they could be charged with a 5-year felony, which my personal opinion, I think is just a bit inappropriate. And another reason that we talked about lowering the penalty to a civil penalty is because Vermont now has green burials. And our citizens now have to get this paperwork in order. And the same thing could happen to them if their permits and licenses ran out by a day, that they could be charged with a 5-year felony and $1,000 fine. And I don't think that's the way we want to do things. So the concern about, that some people had, well, we're lessening a penalty. Yes, we are. But if somebody moves a body with nefarious reasons, with criminal reasons, they can still be charged with a serious felony of obstruction of justice. So yes, we lowered the penalty, but there's also other laws that we have that will cover any criminal acts. And that's why I feel comfortable with the rewording that we did. Now, another, the big rumor is that, and I think I'll just say a woman's health organization, other than saying the name of the organization. There was a rumor going around that they got to me. and that's why that language was changed, because they got to me. And the funny part of it is we never had them in testify in House Judiciary before we passed this out and sent it along to the Senate. So I don't know where they got to me, because must have been in my dreams because I never talked to him about it. And this was a decision made by the committee for the protection of Vermonters. Again, that was an 11-0 vote coming out of committee. And so someplace along the way, there was some confusion, but I just wanted to clear that up, that there was nobody that got to anybody. Well, I will correct myself and say that, yes, that Women's Health Organization did come in and testify after we got this Senate version back from the Senate. And they sat in the witness chair probably for a total of 30 seconds, enough time to introduce themselves and say, we have no objections. So with that, Madam Speaker, with the amendments the Senate made, we took another vote in committee. We took a straw poll vote in committee, and we had a 10-1 vote today, and would certainly appreciate the body's support in supporting this good bill that will help protect Vermonters going forward. Thank you.
The question is, shall the House concur in the Senate proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have concurred in the Senate proposal of amendment. Next is House Bill 46, which is an act relating to the Rare Disease Advisory Council. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
H46, an act relating to the Rare Disease Advisory Council.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have passed the bill. Next is Senate Bill 63, which is an act relating to modifying the regulatory duties of the Green Mountain Care Board. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
S63, an act relating to modifying the regulatory duties of the Green Mountain Care Board.
The question is, shall the bill pass in concurrence with proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have passed the bill in concurrence with proposal of amendment. Members, the final bill on our action calendar today is Senate Bill 125, which is an act relating to workers' compensation and collective bargaining rights. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
S125, an act relating to workers' compensation and collective bargaining rights.
The question is, shall the bill pass in concurrence with proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have passed the bill in concurrence with proposal of amendment. Members, that completes the orders of the day. Are there any announcements? Member for Middlebury.
Madam Speaker, I'd just like to remind this body that the budget conferees will be in the well of the House as soon as we adjourn to answer any questions members may have about the budget. Thank you.
Members, the chair has several committee appointments to announce. The first is the member from Dover, Representative Sibilia, is appointed to the Nuclear Decommissioning Citizens Advisory Panel. And the member from Manchester, Representative James, is appointed to the Joint Information Technology Oversight Committee and to the Vermont Web Portal Board. Are there any further announcements? Member from Jericho.
I just wanted to let the body know that tomorrow at the lunch hour, the Vermont USTA will be here with red ball tennis for anybody that wants to try it out. It will not be in front of the building, but it will probably be on the house side of the building. We're figuring that out.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Woodstock.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank the member from Fairhaven to introduce the entire high school of Fairhaven. I'm just wondering what's going on in the building since all the students seem to be here. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Fairhaven.
Madam Speaker, those athletes had to get back because they have spring sports.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. Member from Pulteney, can you please offer us a motion to adjourn until Thursday, May 15th at 1 p.m.?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion this body stand in adjournment until Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 1 p.m.
Member from Pulteney moves that we adjourn until Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and this body stands in adjournment until tomorrow at 1 p.m.